Good evening. This is the caucus meeting for October 23rd, 2024. Presiding officer of the council, Milady Tejeda, wishes to advise the audience that this notice of this meeting has been filed with the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and posted on the bulletin board in the city clerk's office and on the city's website, indicating that today's meeting is being held in the council chambers, City Hall, 260 High Street at 5:30 p.m. Right now is 5:35 p.m. The council meeting will follow the caucus and closed session. Council President Tejeda, as a courtesy of the governing body, I will ask all individuals present, including members of the audience, to please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices. Should you need to make a telephone call, please go out into the hallway and speak in a low voice so as not to disturb the ongoing meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Present.
Councilwoman Morales?
Present.
Councilman Puccio?
Present.
Councilman Torres?
Present.
Council President Tejeda?
Present. Topic for discussion. Mr. Green, we have best practice.
I think we do. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is listed on the agenda for topics for discussion. Best practice inventory is something that occurs annually, and it's regards to all 564 municipalities within the state. There's they call it an inventory, but it's essentially a survey that you have to go through, and each municipality answers the questions in regards to adherence to law and implementation of best practices. And based upon your score, you will get your funding from the state. I'm happy to report, as in previous years, the city of Perth Amboy will receive its full funding. So we surpassed that required amount of the score that's required. It's also posted on the website for individuals that want to see the survey and the questions answered. But it's consisted of 69 questions, 41 dealt with core competencies, 11 best practices, and there are 17 unscored. And why they give unscored questions for this questionnaire? Because they want the municipalities to know what the state is thinking for future years and future occurrences that the municipalities should start to adhere to with regards to best practices. So, like I said, as previous years, the city did surpass the minimum score, and we will receive the full funding. But for those that want to look at the survey, once again, it's posted on the website.
Thank you. Ordinance, public hearing, 5 minutes maximum per speaker per ordinance. Number one, ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing suspension of parking meter fees for Friday, November 29, 2024 through January 1st, 2025. And this is about the holidays. Number two, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled Vehicles and Traffic Ordinance Number 194-78 as amended, adopted September 19, 1978, also known as Chapter 414 of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy, and this is about loading zone 410-412 Summit Avenue. Number three, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy to amend an ordinance entitled an ordinance designated restricted parking spaces for use by handicapped person, ordinance number 380-85, and amendments, adopted July 2nd, 1985, also known as Chapter 255A of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy, and this is about deletion. Number four, ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, approving certain amendments to the Focus 2020 Redevelopment Plan Area 1, the Gateway, pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law. Number five, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy, County of Middlesex, New Jersey, to amend and supplement Chapter 304 Noise of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy to include additional regulations related to noise emanating from commercial vessels. Agenda. Public comment. Citizen may address the council on any matter on the agenda which does not have its own scheduled public hearing. Citizens shall be permitted to speak once for a maximum of 5 minutes. Bids. Bids were received on September 13, 2024 for the following specific services: fiber installations, splitting, and networking. Adesta LLC, $2,299,914 with 75 cents. Cablevision Light Path LLC, $2,954,778 with 49 cents. Saragon Networks, Inc., $3,596,294 with 74 cents. Kane Communications LLC, $6,222,271 with 96 cents. JCT Solutions, $4,040,580 with 96 cents. SHI Switch and Service, $703,935 with 26 cents, and $121,074.19. Bid pricing form excluded. And we have someone here.
Yes, ma'am. We have an individual from the Matrix Design Group, and he's an independent network engineer that evaluated these bids. And the bids are referring to the last item on the agenda and the award. And we'll have the individual from Matrix Design Group. And he can tell us the process on which they evaluated the bids, and more importantly, the project for the city of Perth Amboy and how it's going to expand access to broadband throughout the city and for all of our residents. So.
How are you? Is that good? How are you? Thank you for having me, Council. My name is Zachary Magid. I'm here today from Matrix Design Group. We worked with the City of Perth Amboy to work with the different departments to define the specifications and craft the bid to ensure that we could get the most competitive pricing and the flexible options fit Perth Amboy's project objectives.
I'm sorry, is the mic working?
You can take it
Because
out.
I can
Is
hardly.
that working? Better? Closer?
Okay.
So the project goal is to expand community access to broadband throughout the municipality. And then I'll start with the foundation of the fiber. So I have 3 really quick slides just to introduce our company, our qualifications to the city. So we've been in the fiber construction and networking business for 28 years. We're headquartered out of East Hanover, New Jersey. We have professional engineers, civil engineers on our staff. And we cover everything in the New England market. Next slide, please. And our primary focus is state and local government work, education, financial institutions, utility companies, and private sectors. So right now we have all of the major carriers, many of the local data centers. We do a majority of the transatlantic cable landing designs. And our founders, they were involved in some of the original fiber deployments in the world with Bell Labs back in the 80s. Next slide, please. I won't read any of this, but this is an inclusive list of all of the professional services. Next slide, please. We have 2 more quick ones, then we'll get into a lot of the criteria around this project for the city. So these are 2 verticals around design team functions and project management team functions. With our 28 years of experience and our professional staff, we really broke down the capabilities of this system to make sure we could itemize and option every possibility to meet the original project objective. So for our engagement with the city, we took the goals, the locations that the city wanted to connect, and we designed everything, we surveyed it, and we put together a very comprehensive, it's about 150-page engineering design package for the bidders to then review, and then we wrote the bid specifications. Next slide, please. This was the project management methodology model that we used throughout the project, and we worked with city and appointed departments to ensure that we had all of their needs included. And now we'll get into the actual project. Next slide, So the project objective for us was to design the bid specifications and the system itself. So bidders could then go ahead and furnish and install a citywide fiber optic cable network. It'll be comprised of mainly aerial optical fiber, radios, and network switching to give that infrastructure to do anything that the city could want connectivity-wise. So the design originated with having the police department and the town hall as two main locations. We built a ring, designed a ring around the city, and then connected every remote site to that ring. The project footprint included 19 city parks, 2 pump stations, 31 intersections, 6 parking lots, and 15 of the city buildings. Next slide, please. Now, project benefits. My boss doesn't like me to talk about this too much, but the original fiber networks went up over 40 years ago. They're still in production now. They're still passing traffic to New York City. So this system in the bid specifications, the fiber infrastructure does come with a 25-year warranty. That was really important to us to make sure it would last in perpetuity, because the fiber itself is really like the highway. Even though the vehicle traffic and how you might route the vehicles on that highway will change and evolve over the years, it'll serve to be a flexible foundation to grow into. So our original goal was to build that foundation level of the fiber backbone to support the current and future wireless site connectivity needs to really expand the broadband access for the community throughout the municipality of those 73 locations I detailed. And the 5 major bullet points, I mentioned the 25-year warranty. We have a Cisco Enterprise is the switching infrastructure, so very robust infrastructure with 5-year licensing to make sure it operates at the highest level. And all of the locations of the 73, every single location that currently has utility bills associated with internet will now be able to be consolidated, further benefiting that operating cost reduction for all of those city buildings, because now you can procure services from just one location and self-distribute them out over those network switches. The future proofing really comes in with the fiber. This network is designed for 10 gig speeds and 1 gig speeds, depending on what type of endpoint it goes to, based on the needs of the technology at each of one of those locations. However, the fiber has no speed limit, so your budget will be the speed limit. Right now, they can get up to 800 gigs over it, so that will be very future-proofed. And one of the largest costs in building a network like this is really the labor, because you have prevailing wage labor to hang the fiber across all of the utility poles and do all the splicing, which is connecting the glass together. Essentially, you're welding the glass under a microscope together, fiber by fiber, and it is as thin as your human hair, that core. That's really where a lot of the cost comes from. So we strategically selected the most likely areas for future expansion based on all of our planning discussions with the city staff to make sure that we increase the fiber size just a little bit, because that is pennies per foot, and the labor essentially does not change when you go from a fiber that's this big to a little bit bigger. Next slide, please. So this map here, there are those dots on the city map to the left are color-coded based on the functionality of each endpoint. We broke it down into 4 phases here, and in subsequent slides, we'll have a little bit more detail here. So phase 1 for us was to survey every single one of those sites, review, document, and then engineer the pathways of where the cable will go, where it will terminate, where the equipment will be housed. Phase 2 was to design the backbone. And when we say backbone, it's really the main pipe. It's just like a sewer main. So we start with the big one starting at the main location. We branch out, go through the city, and as we pass locations, that pipe can get smaller and smaller and smaller. Phase 3 was designing the wired and wireless locations, and we strategically selected wireless locations where the link was cost prohibitive, because maybe we had to dig, or not we, but we would have had to design an underground trench, and that may have cost close to $100,000 per 100 feet or so. It could be upwards of over $100 a foot to dig and open up the roadway prior to the moratoriums and that roadway restoration. So in those areas where there were less services needed, we strategically placed wireless equipment to then beam that signal that last few hundred feet to those remote, very remote sites. None of the town buildings would be on a wireless connection. And then phase 4 for our scope was preparing the bid specs and using our expertise to essentially communicate the project scope and objective as clearly and in as much detail as possible, so the qualified contractors who could respond to the bid would be able to spend more time on being competitive with their submittals than they would having to go through hundreds of pages of design documents to figure out what's in those documents. Next page, please. So here's a picture of the overall design. So every one of those little boxes to the left is it's about 1,800 feet of your city. And just to detail out the phases with a little more detail here. The phase 1, we had 15 city buildings. Phase 2, 19 city parks. Phase 3 was 2 pump stations. Phase 4 was 31 intersections. And then phase 5 were 6 city parking lots. And that is a total of 73. Next page, please. So here, I just took a sample from an outside design page to show the level of detail and the information on this. We'll get through these two pretty quickly. So the red dot is your location there. All of the colored lines are different size cable. That little blue bow tie is the splice. It's essentially 2 cables with arrows pointing at each other. Next slide, please. We have inside plant design, so within each city building, I did exclude any major detail from this. We have photos of exactly where the equipment is going to be mounted, the routing it will take through the building. Next slide, please. And this represents a single line diagram of how every single location of the 73 would be connected to one another. So in the center, we have the head end at the police department and the other one at town hall. We have all of the buildings color-coded in those red, aqua, pink, orange, green, and blue boxes. And then we have our key, so we have the bow tie splice, and we have 5 colors for fiber. Those colors are not industry standards. The cable itself does follow an industry standard that's in the design documents, but for communication of the single line diagram, it was important for us to be able to show the size difference. So the network itself will have a 432 fiber backbone. That will run down the street. After it passes enough buildings where service is no longer needed on that whole cable, it'll drop down to the next size, down to a 288, and continue. Next slide, please. So that was everything up until we advertised to bid. Now this is really the advertising part. So we estimated the project would take from award 8 months from construction beginning to full completion and turnover. So that will be comprised of only a handful of steps. This project is more about volume. So for construction, there will be a significant amount of construction where there's just line trucks down the street, putting up maybe 2,000 to 3,000 feet of cable a day. So it will not be a standing operation where they would be closing a road for days at a time. It would be minutes at a time per utility pole. Next one, number 2, is the enclosures. So when they run out of cable on the big spool, they'll have to put in a weatherproof enclosure. You probably see them. They look like big, like small black garbage cans hanging up on the poles. That's where the fiber is broken out and spliced together. So once they start building, very soon behind, they can start splicing the fiber together. Then they'll test it. So in the bid specs, we had the industry standard testing requirements. We had a testing procedure plan and an acceptance value for what the loss characteristics would look like to make sure the network switches could work. Next slide, please. And our recommendation after reviewing all of the vendor bids was to award to Adesta. I should have probably put this slide a little bit further back, but this is their critical path project schedule, this is about 2 weeks quicker than our original estimate. So we originally estimated 8 months from start to finish. Theirs was 7.5 months from start to finish. Next slide, please. So we'll just run through the bid values real quick, and then on the next slide, we will look through the 5 different major project components and why we chose and are recommending to go with the lowest bid. So Adesta was 2.2 million, and I'll abbreviate here. Saragon was 3.5 million. Lightpath, which is also / Optimum Cablevision, 2.9 million. Kane Communications, 6.2. SHI, 825,000, but I will add the caveat here, they bid less than a third of the overall project. So they did not submit a complete bid for a full and working system. And JCT was 4.04 million. Next slide, please. So here, the color codes mean absolutely nothing. It's just to delineate the different companies. The project overall had 5 major components to it. We have the construction portion and the splicing portion. Those together must go unless you would like to put drain pipe in the ground and not connect them together. So you can see here that Adesta submitted a bid for everything except the wireless. Saragon submitted a bid for everything. Lightpath submitted a bid for everything, but they did not detail out the amounts per item. Kane submitted for everything for 6.2. SHI only submitted for equipment, and it was only the material supply piece. It was not even the installation. And then JCT did include everything. In that other column, I added the note at the bottom here. On a project like this, we did not detail out in our bid rate form that we included with that advertisement. We had about 10 to 20 different line items based on the size, the footage, the quantity, et cetera, of every one of these components. Under other, we included miscellaneous materials, fiber tags, cable ties, and a firewood-rated plywood backboard, nuts and bolts, et cetera. Equipment and red lines. So red lines, we wanted to make sure that everything that gets installed, the cost associated with collecting all of those as-built was itemized out so we could evaluate that fairly between each company. A radio SLA and TSO allowance, so that was uniform traffic control from Jobs for Blue to protect and put policemen, off-duty police officers to flag the traffic in those intersections. A lot of these will be going across the roadway, through school zones, down neighborhood roads. So you can see that that was very different between each bidder, how they submitted those. Next slide, please. So we did prepare an analysis of all 56 odd items that the bidders submitted for. After the evaluation, detailing out that Adesta was the lowest bidder, we broke down this spreadsheet here. And I'll go through this really quickly because originally in the project, we did prepare a project estimate. So starting with that top large box, we have the fiber construction, splicing, and testing. And we have about 100,000 feet, so about 50 miles of metal cable, about, 25 miles of metal cable, and then 25 miles of fiber will be pulled through this project. 10 miles. Overall, the variance, we budgeted and estimated originally this portion of the project to cost 1.9 million. Adesta's bid is 1.24. So that's about 38% lower than our original estimates. The second phase of the project, the wireless, is not included in their bid, so we excluded it from the evaluation here. So phase 3, the switches and IT. Our estimate, was $1 million. Their final pricing was $921,000, so an 8% variance lower than our estimate. And then the final miscellaneous items related to the project, our original estimate was $175,000. They were $45,000 less than that, so 26% lower. So overall, for just these evaluated components, excluding the wireless radios, it came in to be about $1,011,087 under our original estimates. Are there any questions?
Finish with the presentation? Okay, anybody wants to ask anything?
My only question is, once the project is completed, will residents have access to the wireless broadband?
Yes, that's the purpose. As he said, access to broadband was one of the goals, especially of ARPA as well, as you always brought out, so thank you. So yes, residents will be able to use that wireless connectivity. And this is the first portion of it, this 1.1. And then we believe with the next council meeting will be the second portion of it. If you could just talk to that.
Of course, I'd love to. So what was really important about the way, could you back up a handful of slides until that rainbow slide? That one, thank you. And I'm gonna just flip here so I can reference this number correctly. So what was really important in the unit rate bid style that we advertised, every bidder confirmed that every single line item price was a unit rate price. So the city will only pay for what is installed based on the communicated cost per unit, in feet, in units, in measurements, et cetera. So because the wireless portion was so clean to remove and look at awarding later, we wanted some more time because there is another bidder who had a very competitive price, which was under the wireless budget, that we hope to be able to review at the next council meeting.
Anybody else? I really want to thank you for this job. I mean, I think it's something that it seems for your company to have the experience to evaluate this, and I thank you. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Reports. Jill A. Goldie, CFO Controller, submitted the following. Check register report for the month of September 2024 in the amount of $10,883,637.11. Investment report for the month of September 2024. Revenue and appropriation status report as of September 2024. Current fund, water, wastewater utility, parking utility, harborside marina utility. Resolutions. R-433-1024, recognizing the significant public benefits and contributions of the Med Apparel Services, Inc. to the residents and community of the city of Perth Amboy.
Council President,
Yes.
I would like to make a motion, if we can table this resolution. I believe I just would like to review it a little bit further.
Second. We had 2 weeks to review this. I didn't receive any phone calls. I know there was discussion in the past about problems with some people in the administration about that location. And I know there was discussion about problems with parking in the past with some people about that location. I would like to know, right now in front of the workers, let's have this discussion. Let's have the questions about this resolution in front of the workers right here, right now.
Okay, right now we have a motion and a second, and we need to vote if, isn't that the correct way? I mean, if she needs some information, she should be allowed to get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Councilwoman
Thank you.
Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio? Yes. Councilman Torres?
Remember in November, gente, elections coming up, okay? I support you guys, okay? You guys are one of the last of the facilities here that provides union labor to our residents. This should go through. It's a shame that it's being held up, that for 2 weeks, not one council member had called me up. I always call them to discuss this, But with this new leadership, there is no discussion. But here there is questions. It is a shame. Un traición. No.
Council President Tejeda.
I just want to say something about what he just mentioned. If he didn't receive any phone call, we didn't receive any phone call when he was preparing this part. I think we should have been involved in preparing the resolution altogether. So if one council person has a problem or need more information, this doesn't mean that this is going to be taken out. Esto no significa que se va a quitar. Esto quiere decir, ella necesita más información acerca de la resolución. She needs more information about it. When she gets it, then it's going to come back to the city council. So, I'm sorry, you had your chance. So, yes,
She also serves in the redevelopment agency that wants to go forward with that project. The councilwoman also sits in the redevelopment agency, just for the people to know this.
okay. R 434-1024, refunding an overpayment of water sewer charges to 157 New Brunswick Avenue LLC in the amount of $186,906.51 for properties located at 157 New Brunswick Avenue and 160 Jefferson Street for all periods from 2/19 through August 2024. R 435-1024, authorizing the insertion of revenue in the calendar year 2024 budget pursuant to NJSA 48, column 4-87, chapter 159, PL 1948, for the UEZ Business Ambassador Grant in the amount of $100,000. R 436-1024, authorizing an extension of the time required for the Perth Amboy Business Improvement Corporation to submit the annual budget to the city for review and approval. R 437-1024, directing the planning board to investigate whether the property commonly known on the city's tax maps as Block 106.01, Lots 12-19, AKA 428 Fayette Street, 361 and 371 McGuire Place, should be designated as an area in need of redevelopment pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A, column 12A-1. R 438-1024, awarding to a contract to Motorola Solution for the purchase of 8 Motorola M500 mobile video recorders and related hardware and software for the police department under the NJ State Contract Number 23-Fleet 33791 in the amount not to exceed the sum of $69,763.20. R 439-1024, authorizing an application and agreement with the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for the 2024 Driver Sober or Get Pullover Mobilization Grant. R 440-1024, authorizing change order number 1 to the contract with B&W Construction Corporation of New Jersey, Inc., increasing the contract for emergency repairs to the Perth Amboy collection system in an amount not to exceed $300,000. R 441-1024, authorizing a refund in the amount of $100 to Matthew Atkins, a tenant, for the return of his key deposit for 2 keys with the Perth Amboy Harborside Marina. R 442-1024, authorizing the acceptance of the bid and awarding a contract for installation of fiber optic cables and network switches for public safety system to Odesta LLC in the amount not to exceed $1,425,000. And that was the presentation that we just had. We have communication, closed session.
For closed
We don't have
session, there was an incident that I would like to discuss. There was an incident of an employee in an accident this past week. I would like to discuss that
So
incident.
that's personnel.
Personnel?
Yeah, so it was a car accident, employee on duty.
Madam President, and also litigation.
Okay.
I'm trying to find out.
Okay, so closed session resolution, I need a motion for our R 432-1024, authorizing the closed session at October 23, 2024, council meeting to discuss the following: car accident, personnel, and litigation. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, roll call, go ahead.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Okay, public portion, I need a motion for public portion, 5 minutes maximum per speaker to open to the public.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Go ahead.
Ken Ballard, 259 Brook Avenue. Cush's property still has an environmental sign up there. It's been tagged. You can't read the environmental sign. So is that properly clean, or is that still dirty? Because there's no sign up there, and I brought that up over a month ago. There should be a sign there. All right. Now, I got hacked again. I was doing a drug company. Now, how many city employees got hacked? The original time I got hacked under Healthplex, not everybody got it. Now I got a letter that we were hacked in February, and I'm just getting it now that I've been hacked from the drug company. Okay, see, that's what I mean. How do you not know it if I got a letter that the city doesn't know we got hacked?
No, and I wasn't hacked, so maybe certain employees, I don't know if you were, I'm an employee too, just so everyone knows, and I wasn't
Second
hacked.
time. Second time I've been hacked.
Mm,
Then
okay.
in between, I was hacked by some political group that made up a letter about me. So in between, I've been hacked 3 times. So I'm getting punished because I keep getting hacked by the city and nobody's doing anything. And if you don't know about it, how do you not know about it?
Yeah, I wish you know, we have lines of communication, so we definitely, you need to send it to me so I can find out
I
too.
will send it to you, but
But
I'm
yeah.
going to tell you right now, that's why I came to the council, because I just got it.
Okay,
All
but if you
right.
get it, no, get it,
And
sorry.
now, I went to go get my drugs again at the pharmacy, and they wouldn't put it through because they told me they want me to go to mail order. Now, rumor has it that one of our brokers is started a drug company. So factually, is that true? Or why did they tell my pharmacy that they're not gonna allow me to get my drugs again? Now, when I was on that conference call, they blamed it on Obamacare. So all you Democrats now are saying Obamacare is the why I'm having trouble getting my drugs. Because that was what was said on there. Mr. Green, you heard the Obamacare statement, correct?
Honestly, the Obamacare, I honestly don't, and only reason why I'm making, like, because you said that somebody from here is opening a drug company or one of the brokers, not that I know of.
Not that you
But,
know.
yeah,
That's
so,
the things you gotta find out.
yeah, I will
This is
find
what's
out. I'm
happening.
taking the notes.
And
Broker started,
there's the background on one of that guy,
okay?
Mr. Puccio, and there's a couple lieutenants and a couple high-ranking officers that know his reputation. So,
I'm writing it down, I'll find out the company.
now, on June 26th, Councilwoman President, you listed,
Good enough.
Rose Morales as absent during illness. Was she out during illness, or was she out campaigning? Because right on here, it says she was out due to illness. Now, the rumor has it, everything, she was campaigning in Woodbridge. So is it factual? Are you gonna sit there and give us an answer, whether you were campaigning in Woodbridge, and apologize for not showing up to a council meeting? Because it's right here, this is the minutes,
What date is that?
June 26th. No what? You were sick?
Yes,
Okay. And you weren't out anywhere else? You weren't campaigning or anything?
not on June 26th.
Okay. That's the only day you've been out then. That's the day that they said you were out. Okay. So, going back to the Kushner property. When are we gonna get that environmental? Is it clean, the property, or is it not clean?
Do you know? I wrote it down, Kushner Environmental, good or not, so I'm gonna follow up, but you don't have anything, right, or no? When you mean, does it need to be remediated? That's your
Yeah,
question,
no.
right?
It's supposed to be a sign there saying that you're not supposed to go on the property because it's polluted. So either you
Make sure I
cleaned it
gotta
up, the
check.
sign's been tagged.
I have to check.
The sign is supposed to be there.
Is it the portion of the property that they own or the portion of the property the city owns?
It's a
What are we
portion that
referring to?
they own.
We'll look into it.
Okay.
And
Thank
now,
you.
with this company, the tourist company, it's a shame. These are hard-working people that come to work. I bet you 99% of them are citizens of Perth Amboy. And so we're gonna throw them out because you wanna give something to a billionaire because he's related happily to the McGreevy administration, to McCabe, and I guess it's Coughlin now, and they won't allow it to happen. So our highest ranking Democrat is gonna allow citizens of Perth Amboy to lose their jobs because they wanna relocate them. That's sad, and this council should be working for the people here, not some billionaire that wants to build a project that built garbage because of McGreevy, McCabe, and maybe Coughlin now. So, I'll give you 2 seconds. Have a great day.
But that's only your opinion. I mean, that's what you think.
Because it'll come back after the election.
Okay.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Stephanie Brasida, 274 Davidson Avenue. Good evening, City Council. I once again asked to present during the hearing of the citizens. I received your response. No? Can you hear me now? Okay. Good evening, City Council. I once again asked to present during the hearing of the citizens. I received your response, Council President, and while I understand that I ran through my presentation at the August meeting, time, additional research, and additional ideas have yielded information that I believe has caused the initial presentation to evolve over the course of the last 2 months. I believe this is relevant and should be presented once again at a slower pace. I felt like I was running a marathon at the August meeting. Even if I didn't have any additional information, these are community meetings, a place for residents to learn what's going on in our city, to collaborate and share ideas and get involved. I can only imagine how many more people would be engaged today if I had the opportunity to do a full presentation at the August meeting, because sometimes it takes more than 5 minutes and is better understood in the form of a proper presentation, or at least that's how I feel. If a municipal board or employee or a State Department requested the opportunity to present, would you also deny them because they already presented on it once before? I believe you wouldn't deny them. It's not a waste of time if even one more citizen is informed. So I will continue to ask, but I digress. Last meeting, there was a discussion that the city website would be more accessible, meaning also available in Spanish, if I recall correctly, within a week of the last meeting. Please do correct my timeline if I got that wrong. I checked the website right before coming here on both desktop and mobile, and still nothing has changed. The agenda for this meeting is not available in Spanish, and all but one of the alerts has a Spanish translation. When is that going to get fixed? I know you can't translate the entire website overnight, but Google can easily translate the City Council agenda with additional minor edits and review by a human translator. Number 2, being the small city that we are, news travels fast. So I'm sure that you've heard in some capacity that the Superior Diner on Smith Street may have already been sold to someone who owns so much property in the city that we may need to rename it after them. Rumor has it that the land will become, no surprise, more apartments, and as if we need more with everything currently in the works. I know this will come before the zoning board, and I can only imagine it will also go before the planning board, but it's unclear if it will go before the council. But in case it does, and in case that ultimately that is the plan for the site, I ask that you vote against it. I don't know when or if it's going to happen, or who's going to be sitting in those seats that I stare at now. But should it come before the council, please bear in mind the amount of units already being constructed in the city and the amount of development that's already occurring here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening, members of the council. Ken Gonzalez. I reside at 110 High Street. Just a couple quick questions, if I may. I'm looking at the agenda, and I noticed that ordinance number 5 is specifically indicating that you're adding regulations concerning noise emanating from commercial vessels. And I'm just curious, when you're saying commercial vessels, are you talking about automobiles? Are you talking about trucks? Are you talking about ship vessels?
No, the chief spoke about this at the last meeting when there was a question. He was saying that the boats that are off, when they pull out, sometimes residents complain that are on land saying, hey, they hear the noise and they have no ordinances to enforce out there.
Gotcha.
So that's why he did that.
It seems like a reasonable way to go. I should also comment, with all due respect, to Resolution 433, which was tabled this evening. I became aware of this recently, and as I understand the timeline, this was actually on for a previous council meeting and tabled at the request of members of the administration so that there could be any discussions. Look, having sat in those chairs years before, like you guys, I appreciate that when you vote on things, you want to have the information, and I'm not certainly not criticizing anybody's desire to have information, but that's something that certainly you guys can talk about publicly right here if you're so inclined, or certainly reach out privately to your fellow council members. I'm just curious because I happen to be a proponent of Med Apparel, and I certainly see that we have members of their employees here in the audience. Is this going to appear at our next council meeting? I mean, you're tabling it for today. Will it be coming back next time?
It's up to the information that she needs, if she gets it.
Okay.
I
So
imagine.
I would hope, so certainly Councilwoman Morales, I respect your desire to have knowledge before you take a vote. That's what all council people should do. I hope if there's a question, you can reach out to whoever that question needs to be directed to, including if that's Councilman Torres for the next meeting, so that way we can hopefully have a vote on this down the road. They are a good group. They are 144 employees, many of who live here in Perth Amboy, and certainly a recognition that they should not particularly be part of a redevelopment plan, I think is a good position for the council to take, and I encourage that. So I thank Councilman Torres for proposing the ordinance, and I hope that anyone who has questions, please share questions amongst each other so you can have a good informed discussion, a debate if necessary, but that we can bring this to a vote soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening, everyone. I'm just here to kind of pose
I'm
a
sorry.
little problem that we're
Your
going.
name and your address first?
My name is Rosana Sanchez, and I live in Market Street. I
Okay.
don't know if I have to
Okay.
mention the number
That's
of
okay.
the house, but just letting you know, guys. There's something going on in our community, and it's a group of people who just moving into the community, and they are like using drugs and doing a whole bunch of stuff. They don't let us sleep, and every time they block our parking spot. And when I'm saying I'm talking about my neighbors. They are here too, and I. So every time that I'm gonna go to work, I have to kind of ask for permission to them. They just renting over there. So it's kind of annoying that every time that I go to work, I have to wait until they want to move the car. And then you're gonna ask me, oh, so why don't you call the police? I do call the police every time, and for whatever reason, they just go there, talk to them, and they leave. Last time that this happened was on Sunday, and they were talking. Obviously, I'm gonna be like trying to listen what they're talking about. And one of the guys said from the house, he said, so and so. He mentioned somebody else's name. I don't know whose name was, and then he said he was the one who was here. I don't know if you guys follow me, but he was trying to say that somebody important was in that house. That's what he was saying. So the police kind of shake his hand and say, all right. That's what he said. All right, so just try not to be too loud. And he left. But if I mention something else, is that the same night, they were in front of my backyard, and they were like blocking my car. I couldn't go to work because they were there, all of them. It was a group of people. And when I'm saying a group, I'm talking about like 8 or 10 people, about that amount of people. So I'm trying to go to work. I can't because they're all there. So I called the police 12:32 at nighttime. I was on call that day. And the lady who was the dispatching lady, whatever, I don't even know her name. She said, you know what? Tell me what is it about, because it's about your parking spot again. That's private. That's what she said. It's a private parking spot. We don't deal with private parking spot. We deal with the city. Is that close to the sidewalk? Is that close to the sidewalk? I said, no, it's in my backyard. It's in the back. It's an alley. She's like, well, so no, we don't deal with that. So every time it's something like that. So I'm trying to reach different people. I came here, I spoke to her about it. I spoke to different people about it. Everybody tells me different things. Nobody's telling me like the same thing, and nobody communicate each other, because every time that I call to somebody, they go like, oh, I didn't know about that. You were the one who came the last time, but let me tell you. And they tell me different story all the time. Every time that I come, it's the same thing. So when I come, I'm talking about the police officers that I go every time, because I go every time to them. So I just asked for a record where it says every time that I call over there. So I want to know every time that I call, like, what's going on. So they said they're going to give it to me. They haven't given it to me yet. But I spoke to somebody in specific, because I have everybody's name. I spoke to somebody in specific, and that person told me that he's going to help me. He said, get the deed of the house, and I'll help you out, because we don't know what is your part. We don't know exactly what part is that belongs to your house, because it's an alley, so all are together. So I said, all right. So I brought the deed to him, and then he goes, no, that's not the paperwork. You know what? You have to bring a survey. So you have to pay for a survey if you don't have it. So I did my part, and I just went and got the survey, whatever. I just left it in his office. He haven't contacted me yet. But when I'm saying it's frustrating, because it's every time same thing. And they play loud music. They invite people from New York. They're using cars that don't belong to New Jersey, because they're being there for like almost 10 months already living there. And they're being used in this car that it's not under New Jersey plate. It's not recognized like New Jersey car. It's somebody else's car, or maybe they are, to be honest, like, I don't know what the deal is. But the only thing that I could tell you is that I have many videos of everything that is happening over there. I have many videos of people who's going over there. I have a whole bunch of proof of what I'm saying right now. And according to whatever people tells me, and when I'm talking about people, I'm talking police officer, is that they don't want to deal with that. You know why I'm saying that? Because every time that I mention any little thing like that, like specifically, I have videos, I have this, they always go back to my parking spot. Oh, because your parking spot is private, we don't deal. I'm like, I'm not talking about parking spot only. I'm talking about the disturbing all our neighbors. Like, people don't want to talk because they feel afraid of them. And I'm talking about like no kids sleeping around, because like my kids can't sleep at nighttime because of the same thing. It's always noise. It's always people like playing music and talking. I just want to, you guys know this, because it's frustrating.
Okay.
Wait,
I-
miss, I'm gonna
Okay,
ask
go
you a
ahead.
question. Where did you leave the survey? What office?
No, she said she
No,
didn't have the
you
deed.
had-
She
She
had.
said she had the survey, and you went to the office and you left it there. What office?
Is the zoning supervisor. I left them for him.
Where?
The zoning supervisor.
Zoning.
Zoning supervisor, all right.
She did.
And number two, what's your address?
I just went today again and I left it.
Okay.
It's been like a month that I left the deed. and
Okay.
today
Miss.
I went
Miss,
to the-
over here,
Miss,
over
miss.
here. Okay.
And what's your address?
409 Market Street.
You got the alley behind there by Olive
Yes.
Street, right?
Yes,
409?
yes.
Okay, all right. I'm sure somebody's gonna talk to her, right, Mr. Green?
Yes.
You're 100% correct, sir.
What's that?
100% correct, sir.
I think somebody from the police department.
No, I'm going to get the
in
information because the
upper
chief is not here
echelon-
today.
In the upper echelon of the police department, should reach out to her.
You're not letting me
and
talk,
let's-
sir. I said, what I'm going to do
Because
is,
obviously she has a legit complaint. Can your neighbors stand up in the back?
Yeah, they are here.
I wanted to just see how many.
I have her and I have him,
All right, thank you.
and her son couldn't come.
You can give your name to the BA and your phone number.
All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Right now? All right. no problem.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sharon Huberman, and I reside at Cornell Street in the city of Perth Amboy. It's nice to see all of you up there. The reason why I'm here today is there is so much that's going on in our town. And there are two matters that I wanted to raise here. I wasn't expecting to do this, but it is disconcerting. So as you are familiar, there are certain properties in Perth Amboy where there are many residents that reside in it. And when you go and you want to meet the residents, conducting a campaign, I noticed that there is entries to certain candidates that are allowed to be at these properties. So never have I ever experienced where in two particular properties, our candidates, our campaign, are banned from these two properties. And I find it very unusual, highly unusual actually, because this property, they're on pilots. This property has designated parking for the city. So I find that to be a suppression in terms of the voters getting to know who are the candidates that are running. There is such a thing as political freedom. We don't live in Cuba. We don't live in Russia, where certain candidates are allowed and other candidates are banned. So I thought that was just, okay, I'm going to respect what is their intention, because there's other ways of campaigning, but I've never experienced this before. So then go to another property, the same issue. But then when we are about to exit, no. I'm like, I'm running, you know, and I see that other individuals are leaving their literature. So they're, oh, no, we're changing, no, it's okay. You can go ahead. So it is very alarming that there are certain areas in town that they are absolutely banning the campaign. And we don't want to disturb the peace or cause any problems. I mean, that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is making voters aware there's an election and they have a choice. There's nothing intrusive. It's not a solicitation. And I just find it unusual that these buildings that are on pilots, they have designated parking for the city, and they're banning us. So I don't know who to speak to regarding it. There's another issue. So recently, I don't know if all of you have seen it, there was a video concerning a young man that works for a towing company in the city of Perth Amboy. That towing company works for the city of Perth Amboy also. And it is such a disturbing video that anyone who's a mother, anyone who is just a human being in general, would be finding this extremely objectionable. So I would like to know, is the police working on this matter? Because just to think that in the city of Perth Amboy, that there could be what I would consider alleged violations of a person's humane rights. You know, I don't know if you've seen the video, and I'm sure that's part one of a bigger picture. But you know what happens is there's this message, or there's this creation, or these optics that we, the city, we don't care about what's happening to a young person. There's always a balance. And when you go and there's different scenarios for both situations, you treat each person equally. You process the service equally. So, you know, I'm standing here before you. I didn't expect to be here, but I firmly believe that all of you would be very disturbed by what you saw, even though it may be like a brief moment of it, and there's probably a much bigger picture. But the sentiment is, and I don't like this, that nothing is being done. I don't believe that's probably the issue. I don't think so, but that's the sentiment, and that's how it feels. So if you haven't, seen the video, it's been pretty viral out there, and it's very disturbing. And I really hope that there's a solution or there's an update, and if arrests or interrogation, because, it's very disconcerting. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, I need a motion to, oh, one more. Get it closer to you, say,
Does that
say
work?
your name and your
You could
address.
lift it up.
Better? Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes. Go
Okay,
ahead.
wonderful. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow citizens of Perth Amboy. My name is Iman, and I just moved here with my husband, Anthony. I'm an assistant prosecutor for the state of New Jersey, and I just wanted to introduce myself, say hello, and we're going to be at these meetings. We don't really know much about the town as yet, but we're excited to be here, so thank you for having us. Welcome.
Okay, thank you for
Welcome.
participating.
Council President, I would like to put something on record. The young lady that came up and said that she dropped off the survey to the zoning officer, it was done today. It was dropped off today. So I just want to make sure you guys know that obviously she's not going to get an answer today, but she will get an answer from the zoning officer, a legal answer.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Irving, I got that. I knew it was today.
Okay.
It's good.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, I need a motion to close public portion.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? I need a motion to go to closed session.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? None. After the closed session, we will adjourn the caucus and then start the meeting. Thank you. We're back from closed session. I need a motion to come back.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? I need a motion to adjourn the caucus meeting.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, now we're ready for the council meeting. Good evening. This is the October 23rd, 2024 council meeting. Presiding officer of the council, Milady Tejeda, wishes to advise the audience that notice of this meeting has been filed with the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, and posted on the bulletin board in the city clerk's office and on the city's website, indicating that today's meeting is being held in the council chambers, City Hall, 260 High Street, right after the caucus and closed session. Right now is 7:05. Council President Tejeda, as a courtesy of the governing body, I will ask all individuals present, including members of the audience, to please turn off all cell phones and electronic devices. Should you need to make a telephone call, please go out into the hallway and speak in a low voice so as not to disturb the ongoing meeting. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Cruz.
Present.
Councilwoman Morales.
Present.
Councilman Puccio.
Present.
Councilman Torres.
Present.
Council President Tejeda.
Present. Let's stand for the invocation. Dear Lord, please watch over this governing body, over our city, and help us make the right decision for our residents and the entire city. Please, we pray for those with mental health issues, for those that are going through violence and difficulties, for the world where they're having, the part of the world where they're having wars, and please protect them too and bring them peace. For our troops, wherever they are, abroad or in our nation. Protect them and their family for protecting our freedom. And with that, I say amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we had the presentation from best practice for Mr. Green already. Okay, we go to the ordinance public hearing, 5 minutes maximum per speaker per ordinance. Ordinance number 1, ordinance in the city of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey, authorizing suspension of parking meter fees from Friday, November 29th, 2024 through January 1st, 2025 due to the holidays. I need a motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? It's open to the public. Seeing none, I need a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? I need a motion to adopt.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number 2, an ordinance to amend an ordinance entitled Vehicles and Traffic, ordinance number 194-78, as amended, adopted September 19, 1978, also known as Chapter 414 C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy. And this is about the loading zone 410-412 Summit Avenue. I need a motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? It's open to the public. Seeing none, I need a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? I need a motion to adopt.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number 3, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy to amend an ordinance entitled an ordinance designating restricted parking spaces for use by handicapped persons on ordinance number 380-85 and amendments adopted July 2nd, 1985, also known as Chapter 255 C of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy, and this is about deletion. I need a motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Seeing none, I need a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? I need a motion to adopt.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number 4, ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey, approving certain amendments to the Focus 2020 Redevelopment Plan Area 1, the gateway pursuant to the local redevelopment and housing law. I need a motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? It's open to the public. Seeing none, I need a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? I need a motion to adopt.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Number 5, an ordinance of the City of Perth Amboy County of Middlesex, New Jersey to amend and supplement Chapter 304 noise of the Code of the City of Perth Amboy to include additional regulation related to the noise emanating from commercial vessels. I need a motion to open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? It's open to the public. Seeing none, I need a motion to close public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? I need a motion to adopt.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Agenda, public comment. Citizens may address the council on any matter on the agenda which does not have its own scheduled public hearing. Citizens shall be permitted to speak once for a maximum of 5 minutes. I need a motion to open to the public.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? It's open to the public on agenda item. Seeing nobody coming up, I need a motion to close public
Move.
comment.
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Against? Okay, bids. Bids were received on September 13, 2024 for the following specific services: fiber installations, splicing, and networking. Adesta LLC, $2,299,914 with 75 cents. Cablevision Light Path LLC, $2,954,778 with 49 cents. Saragon Networks, Inc., $3,596,294 with 74 cents. Kane Communication LLC, $6,222,271 with 96 cents. JCT Solutions, $4,040,580 with 96 cents. SHI Switch and Service, $703,000 with $703,935 with 26 cents, and $121,074 with 19. Bid pricing form excluded. And the recommended bid was Adesta LLC with $2,299,914 with 75 cents. Reports, Jill A. Goldie, CFO Controller, submitted the following check register report for the month of September 2024 in the amount of $10,883,637 with 11 cents. Investment report for the month of September 2024. Revenue and appropriation status report as of September 2024. Current fund, water, wastewater utility, parking utility, harborside marina utility. Okay, look over the resolution and tell me if you want to pull anything. Anybody?
No.
You okay?
Yeah.
Number 438.
438. Is that it? Okay. Okay, the consent agenda is, I need a motion for the, consent agenda is R 434-1024 through 437-1024, and R 439-1024 through R 442-1024. I need a motion for the consent agenda.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes.
Councilman Torres?
Yes.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. R 438-1024, awarding a contract to Motorola Solutions for the purchase of 8 Motorola M500 mobile video recorders and related hardware and software for the police department under New Jersey State Contract Number 23 Fleet 33791 in the amount not to exceed the sum of $69,763 with 20 cents. I need a motion.
Move.
Second.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Morales?
Yes.
Councilman Puccio?
Yes, but I just want to make a note, and, you know, I'm sure that Councilman Torres is going to say something also, is the fact that, you know, we're spending all this money on technology for the police department, but we had a citizen come here today and talked about her own, what's going on with her, how she feels. and how unsafe she feels living in her house. So, you know, technology is technology. You know, we need to engage the community. Community policing is one thing, but the people that drive these police cars around need to engage the public, not just the community policing guys, and the cameras don't solve everything. The only problem is the chief's not here to defend his point of view, so I don't want to go on and on and on about it. So my answer is going to be yes anyway.
Councilman Torres?
I am against the over-surveillance of our community, so I'm voting no.
Council President Tejeda?
Yes. Communications, and we got the closed session. Public portion, 5 minutes maximum per speaker. I need a motion to open to the public.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Anybody?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Ray Calker, 2416 Sunnyview Oval. I just got a statement and a few questions. Statement first, this is the worst leadership in 25 years. To me, the city is not moving forward. It's just stupidity at its best. CABA was on the HPC and now look, stop destroying the city's history. The city could be making a lot of money on tourism sites throughout the city and have very little problems. Stop letting old buildings go. This is disrespectful by Mayor Cava, not talking to the HPC, using kids and seniors for his campaign. Both age groups do not know and do not understand the problems in town. Seems like a person of interest problem. It's embarrassing that the city hasn't invested in any way. Code enforcement is not doing nothing. City should be hiring bodies instead of robots for the police department. Cava has done nothing for the city, only photo ops. Repaving of streets is a cover-up. Cava keeps saying the city of history now. He was on the HPC board previously. He don't care about the kids' safety. The city can't even get the newsletter right, and the website, to me, is a lie. Public safety is not a top priority. Not acting as a police director, not giving the fire department a ladder truck sooner than 10 years later. They should have gotten 2 trucks. The Mullins guys are suffering, and still no automated garbage pickup on East Avenue, Park Avenue area, but Minder Street has it. That's unacceptable to me. Wasting monies and giving money to a con artist, but not giving money to the Salvation Army, or not giving money to HPC, not bringing back the First Aid Squad, not having a Memorial Day parade anymore. City's current people have lost respect of everything in its past. Why create the city's preservation committee board years ago when past and future administrations don't support? So what's their purpose? After this, probably no longer have the HPC. So what's Dyke's purpose as a city historian? Just have him for the 4th of July holiday? Why have a historian then? Cava has talked down to Dyke, and some people say they do care, but they really don't. They are lost. A building is more important than the alley roadway. I spent money out of pocket restoring fire department grave markers and cemeteries last spring. Do I get a proclamation? Could be a long shot, but maybe the commissioner could renovate the building and include the HPC and the city historian. Maybe give it back to the city or give it to the state as a historical landmark, or the state could pay for the renovations. This project does not benefit the city. Cava was bullshitting those 2 historical presentations a few meetings ago. Those scouts could be doing something better with the Salvation Army, or do something better in general by earning the badge. They earned the badge the easy way. The city gave Cava a chance, and now we all know who he is. He's for his pockets. There's a lot of rubber stampers and sellouts, putting a lot of money into the library and trying to keep it up when technology is growing, cluttered with items. And maybe it could be better to have more space, save the old police station, put artifacts in the old police station. There's even library items in the fire museum that don't belong there. In Detroit, they're restoring some old buildings that are way worse condition than the old police station, and it is truly amazing what they're doing. And Los Angeles Police Department, their museum is a former headquarters, which is also restored. Young people might as well buy a home instead of wasting money paying rent. Maybe a performing arts center could have been way better along the waterfront area instead of apartments. Why Cava's people taking down wall hangings throughout City Hall? Kushner don't care about Perth Amboy. You shouldn't give him nothing. The city should have taken the land back a long time ago. This is fraud. Cabo has fooled everyone, and now we know who he is. He is a failure, and somebody like him does not need another 4 years to give things more time for things to get better. Please save the building and reopen the firehouse as a second firehouse included in the master plan. Things have been unthought of planning the past 25 years, and Caba's personal agenda and does not care about the people, not facing the people, and why wait longer for actual leadership? The things that he says haven't been done already, and they should have been done already. Developers like Kushner and Trujillo, they can go screw themselves. For me, either Petrick or Gonzalez for mayor. Questions, 3 questions. What is the cost of a garbage route? Mr. Green?
What is the cost of what?
Of a garbage route?
Of a garbage truck?
Route, Zone 3. Do you have a price of a cost?
Of a garbage room?
Route.
The route. Price of a garbage route, I don't know what you mean.
Yes or no?
You know, like.
No, because I don't know what you mean.
Okay. So.
Like their route?
The garbage areas are broken into zones.
Because there's a truck, there's the gas, there's the individuals, what do you mean about the route?
The streets that they pick up the garbage, it's called a route. So I'm asking the cost if you know, yes or no. So no?
No.
Okay. So $500,000, East Avenue and Park Avenue.
I'm sorry,
Street.
but your time is up. You can pass him the information and he can reach out to you and give you
So if I
the
email
answer.
him the questions, he can answer them?
Mm-hmm, sure.
With everyone else.
Thank you.
This is a personal matter.
Buenas noches para todos. Mi respeto para usted, María Peralta, que esté.
Hold on.
Let me say one thing. The translator was here, but I do have him on the phone because he did leave. So I'm going to bring up my phone to you. I'm going to let you
Yo
talk.
quiero hablar en mi idioma.
Ok, eso
Ok.
es lo que él te está diciendo.
Ok.
Si usted puede
Wait,
esperar
wait.
2 segundos, él tiene
Espera 2 segundos.
asistencia en el teléfono.
No, yo quiero hablar en mi idioma.
Sí, sí.
Ah,
tú
No,
puedes.
no intérprete.
No, yo no voy a
No,
No,
espérate.
ok, ok.
Espérate. Hay que traducir para las otras personas,
Ok.
entiendan.
Está bien, gracias.
Hello, so this is Mike Green once again, and I have the individual here, that way you'll listen and then translate. You can just say your name for the record really quick? Sure.
Velasquez.
And you'll be translating what she said. So should she speak for a little bit and then let you go like that? Is that the way we're gonna do this?
Yes, exactly. At least sentence or half or so, that should give me time to.
Okay, if you can say it in Spanish to her as well, so.
Yo quiero usar mis 5 minutos primero antes del
espérate.
intérprete.
Espérate, no. Porque él no te va a poder traducir todo lo que tú dijiste. En
Sí, él
hecho.
puede escribirlo.
Okay.
Okay, she didn't speak yet. Okay.
Go ahead.
Mi nombre es María Peralta. State Street. Vengo hoy a pedirle a los concejales o hablarle de un caso que ha pasado de una tortura de un niño en este pueblo.
To speak about something that has happened, about a torture that was done to a child here in this city.
Le quiero pedir a usted, al administrador, y a todos los concejales y al alcalde de aquí,
I would like to ask you, all the council members, the mayor, and you, the translator,
que tienen que remover la licencia de la grúa de la persona que agredió a un niño en este pueblo.
that you should revoke the license of the owner of the tow truck that assaulted the minor child.
Al jefe de policía,
The chief of police as well.
decirle que como ese agresor que amarró ese niño una noche entera con esposa de la policía,
entire night.
Le agarró su parte íntima, lo puso a sangrar y fue para el hospital.
He grabbed his private area, made him bleed, and sent him to he had to go to the hospital.
Lo cortó por las manos con un cuchillo.
He cut his hands with a knife.
Le dio en la quijá, vamos a decir quijá como digamos nosotros los dominicanos.
He struck him on his jaw,
Lo,
like us Dominicans would say.
le dio golpe y lo dejó inconsciente en el piso.
He hit him and he left him unconscious on the ground.
Yo quiero saber
I want to know
cómo un agresor así
how someone who has assaulted someone like this
está trabajando para el departamento de la policía con una grúa.
is still working for the police department using a tow truck.
Yo sé que ustedes concejales,
I know that you council members,
todos, ninguno van a estar de acuerdo
I know that none of you are going to agree
que alguien que uno confía en que se lleve un carro de uno
that you trust someone to take someone's car
esté agrediendo a los clientes.
would be assaulting clients in this form.
Cuando el niño fue a poner el complaint a la policía,
When the child went to put the complaint at the police station,
lo que le hicieron fue el reporte que el niño tenía un cuchillo, siendo mentira.
on the report they wrote that the child had a knife, which is a lie.
En menos de 10 días
In less than 10 days
o menos de 15 días,
or less than 15 days,
quiso matarlo con su propia grúa.
he tried to kill him with his own tow truck.
¿Cómo? Mi pregunta es para el jefe de la policía y el director de la policía, con mucho respeto, que esto,
My question is for the police chief and the director of the police, with all due respect.
esto no es nada político,
This has nothing to do with politics.
esto es responsabilidad de los concejales y de nosotros los residentes,
And this is a responsibility that falls on the council members and us, the residents.
que nos duela esto.
And this should hurt us all.
Sea dominicano, sea puertorriqueño, o sea lo que sea, no vamos a permitir esa clase de insulto aquí, de tortura.
Whether it be a Dominican or Puerto Rican or whatever, we are not going to allow this kind of torture.
A través de la corte vamos a tratar que se revoque la licencia y le pido otra vez al jefe de la policía, a todos ustedes, que por favor saquen la grúa de la calle. Gracias y buena noche.
Through legal means, we're going to try our best for his tow truck towing license to be revoked, and everyone, you council members, the police, and so on, are responsible and should act upon this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Buenas noches. Voy a pedirle un favor.
Por favor, su nombre y su dirección primero, por favor.
Mi nombre es Ramona Segura.
My name is Ramona Segura.
Vivo aquí en Perth Amboy, calle Perth Amboy, New Jersey,
I live in Perth Amboy, New Jersey.
439.
Okay.
439 de la Marque.
439 Market Street.
Ujú. Vine a pedirle un favor.
I came to ask for a favor.
con respeto a todos ustedes.
With all due respect to everyone here,
Mi familia está pasando por un drama muy peligroso.
my family is going through a very dangerous situation right now.
Mi hija está aquí en estos momentos.
My daughter is here at this moment.
No puede venir porque el llanto no la deja.
She couldn't come because she cries too much. She just couldn't make it.
Pero por favor, le voy a pedir un favor.
But please, I am going to ask you for a favor.
Quiero que mi familia la respeten
I want my family to be respected
y que hagan justicia
and for justice to be done
con estos delitos que se están cometiendo aquí en Perth Amboy.
with these crimes that are being committed here in the city of Perth Amboy.
Que no me le pase nada a mi familia porque ella desea matarlo. Este muchacho le tiró una camioneta encima y le tiró una grúa.
That I hope that nothing happens to my family because this man tried to run over this young child with his tow truck.
Mi nieto está muy adolorido porque él lo dejó sin vida, porque cuando usted lo traturan ya usted es una persona sin vida en esta tierra.
My grandson is very hurt because they left him practically almost lifeless because when you are tortured, you are practically left lifeless.
Le pido respeto a ustedes y gracias porque me han atendido a esta conversación. Y quiero que se respeten esta familia porque nosotros somos una familia de trabajo, no robando.
I ask that my family be respected. I thank you all for letting me be here and listening to me, but my family needs to be respected because we are a working family. All we do is work.
Y muchas gracias.
And thank you very much.
Gracias. Thank you.
Buenas noches. Mi nombre es Rosa Mejía.
My name is Rosa Mejia,
Y de ese niño que están hablando es mi hijo.
and this young child that we're speaking about is my son.
Ya, mi hijo fue torturado por
My
una
son
persona.
My son was tortured by a person,
Fue torturado por una persona, por un residente de esta ciudad.
by a person who is a resident of this city.
Aparte de torturado, fue prácticamente violado. Que mi hijo botaba la sangre por su parte. En el hospital.
Besides being tortured, he was practically raped because my son was bleeding through his private area when he was in the hospital.
Aparte de eso, mi hijo fue
Besides-
amarrado,
Besides that, he was tied,
torturado con
tortured,
esposa de la policía, de un
with
señor.
cuffs. Permítame interpretar, señora.
Yeah.
With handcuffs that belonged to the police of Perth Amboy.
Yeah. Con esposa de la policía. Fue
With
torturado.
handcuffs that belonged to the city of to the police of Perth Amboy. My son was tortured
Por una persona que no es policía.
by a person that is not a police officer.
¿Por qué esa persona, ustedes me contestan a mí, me pueden responder, por qué esa persona usa las esposas de los policías si no es policía?
You guys answer this question. Why does this person have handcuffs that belong to the police department if he is not a police officer?
¿Por qué esta persona tiene derecho a maltratar a una persona? ¿Por qué tiene derecho? ¿Por qué?
Why does he have the right to torture someone? Does he have that right? And why?
Y para colmo, entonces, para mi hijo no hay justicia.
And also to top it off, there is no justice for my son.
No he encontrado justicia en esta ciudad para mi hijo.
I haven't found no justice at all for my son in this city.
Igual que ese señor, yo también pago renta. Yo también soy residente de aquí, de esta ciudad. Y mi hijo también.
Just like that man, I pay rent in this city. I am a resident in this city, and so is my son. Just like that man.
No tengo ánimo para venir aquí porque ustedes, las que son hembras, son madres.
I don't have the strength to come here. And you women are here that you are mothers.
Ustedes saben lo que es tener un hijo
You know what it's like to
pequeño
have a son.
o grande y que te lo torturen.
Whether it's small or a big child, okay? You don't know what it's like to have a son and for him to be tortured
Por un psicópata
for someone who's a psychopath,
que te amenace tu hijo delante de la policía, te voy a matar y nadie haga nada.
and that he threatens your son in front of the police and tells him that he's going to kill him in front of the police, and no one does anything.
Nadie dijo nada.
No one said anything.
Mi hijo estuvo como quien dice solo, porque no tuvo apoyo de lo que supuestamente son los que resuelven en la ciudad.
My son was alone, and he had no support at all whatsoever, not even from supposedly the authorities and the police of this city.
La ley de aquí, ¿dónde está? La ley de la ciudad, ¿dónde está? Cuando una persona puede hacer lo que quiera.
Permítanme interpretar.
Okay.
Where's the law? Where's the law in the city of Perth Amboy? Where's the law that is supposed to be respected? Continúe.
El señor Adel Tofi
The gentleman by the name of Adelph
maltrató a mi hijo,
mistreated my son.
lo amarró
He tied him
por 2 días,
for 2 days.
le dio golpe
He beat him.
que botó sangre de su boca,
He bled through his mouth.
lo amarró con la esposa de los policías y él no es policía,
He tied him with police handcuffs, and he's not even a police officer.
no es policía. Mi pregunta es,
My
¿yo
question,
puedo hacer eso?
am I allowed to do that?
¿Yo puedo hacerlo?
Can I
Yo
do
no
that?
soy policía. ¿Pueden darme una esposa para yo hacer eso?
I'm not a police officer. Can I have some
No,
handcuffs?
¿verdad?
Can I do that to someone else? No, right?
No. Entonces mi hijo hoy mi hijo, con toda esa tortura, mi hijo no puede salir a la calle. Mi hijo no ha matado a nadie.
My son, with all that torture that he went through, he can't even go out in the street. And my son didn't kill nobody.
Yo tengo que tener a mi hijo ahora trancado porque mi hijo no ha matado a nadie. Pero sí a mi hijo le quieren hacer daño.
I have to have my son locked up now. My son hasn't killed nobody, but they're trying to harm my son.
Gracias. Gracias, ya tenemos, son 5 minutos por persona y ya son 9 minutos. Pero ya tenemos la información.
Ya no hay problema. Muchas
Gracias.
gracias y pasen buena noche. Y lo toman en cuenta, por favor.
Please take everything I said into consideration.
Anybody else? Seeing none? Oh, one more person.
Stephanie Brasida, 274 Davidson Avenue. Just to comment on the time limit.
Can't hear you.
Stephanie Brasida, 274 Davidson Avenue. Just to comment on the time limit. When you have somebody here who cannot speak English and needs a translation, you should consider letting them have the whole 5 minutes to speak in the language that they're comfortable with, and then an additional 5 minutes for whoever's translating. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, I need a motion to close public portion. I need a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Okay, council comments.
Good evening, everyone.
Councilwoman Cruz?
Yes, sorry. Good evening, everyone, and thank you all for being here. And as this month is ending, I know that on Saturday we're celebrating the breast cancer awareness, and there are other events within the city website. Have a good night, and once again, thank you again.
Councilwoman Morales?
Thank you for everyone coming this evening and participating, whoever came. I just want to kind of make a little comment about things that occurred tonight. Now, being a councilwoman that I have been elected into this seat, I am entitled, if I want to have things reviewed and I want to investigate and I want to further, and I'm not comfortable, I will not vote on something I am not comfortable with. This is what I was put here for. And I think this is probably also maybe in the past, people have made decisions that without even thinking about it, I'm not comfortable, I'm not going to make a decision. I think I have that right. And I'm doing my job as an elected official to do my due diligence to investigate until I'm comfortable with it. And I would, if anybody else in this council members, that they wanted to put something on the agenda and they were not comfortable with it, I will respect you on your decision. You do not call it, I'm not gonna call you a sellout. We are all entitled to our opinion. We are all entitled to our decisions. And I have my own mind. And if I agree or disagree, that is my decision. And I think I'm doing the right thing by making sure that I'm feeling comfortable with with investigating and getting the information that I need to feel comfortable and make a right vote and make a right decision. I live in this town too. I pay taxes. I have children in this town. Everything that we make decisions for affects me as well. And I do care about the people that live in this city just as well. I have a heart. So I'm trying to make the best decision for everyone. Not just for myself, but everyone that lives in this city. I would just respect and not try, yes, I get it. It's election time. It's time to attack the people that are running and try to make this individual look bad. But you know what? I'm going to stick to my guns and do what I have to do until I am comfortable making a decision. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Councilman Puccio?
I really don't have anything to say.
Councilman Torres?
It is a sad day for the city of Perth Amboy that turns it when the council turns its back on a room full of resident union workers who are just asking to be acknowledged. It is a sad day, very sad day. Now, any questions? Well, we could have let this gone through and any council person could have voted their heart, they could have voted yes, they could have voted no, they could have even abstained to vote and let the resolution go through so the other council members could have voted, especially since we had a room full of union members. And these union members supported some council members in the past. And they just want acknowledgement and protection that their facility would not be put under eminent domain with all of the development going around it. We have in the past removed historic companies from this town to eminent domain. I was just this past Saturday at the Schott Factory sale in Union, New Jersey. The Schott Brothers factory was in the city of Perth Amboy from 1935 to 2005 until they were forced to move out of the city of Perth Amboy. First, they were moved to the city of Elizabeth because there was no room for them in Perth Amboy. And then they relocated to Union. They still employ residents from Perth Amboy, but now those residents have to travel. When before that factory was here in walking distance and employed almost all of their employees from the city of Perth Amboy, not just given a living wage, but giving these workers an upper hand to join the middle class, to provide benefits. This way the municipality doesn't have to pick up the burden of benefits. This is what they provided. This is what MedApparel provides. Over 100 residents of our city, they provide them with that benefit, a living wage, benefits. Their children go to school here and know that they have the security that their parents have a good job and have the benefits to be able to take them to the doctors whenever they need. All they were asking for was just to be acknowledged. The same people who went knocking on the doors 4 years ago for some of us to get us elected, they were just asking, but I guess we need the approval from whoever's developing around the area, because any question could have been answered by our legal team, by our business administrator, or by the surrounding council, especially if we were in the back room. But there was no questions that were asked. I guess the questions that would need to be proposed are from people who are not in this room, or people who do not have Perth Amboy at heart. I guess those are the people who are going to make the decisions, who need to be asked if this is okay or not. Not the people who are elected here. That's all I had to say. It is a sad day for the city of Perth Amboy.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everyone. We listen to what you have to say. We pay attention to what you say. Your opinion is very important to us. The people that came up during this time, I just want to let you know, I know there's a lot going on with the cases, and there's certain things that we should not be talking about. But we listen, we're hurt for everything that happens. But I just want to tell everybody, please, Election Day starts. It's your right to vote for whoever you consider to be the right person for the city, for the nation, okay? So it's up to you. The early voting starts on Saturday. So it's your decision, and it's your time to do the right thing. I just want to say thank you and have a good night. I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
My mother worked the shop, right?